stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Star Wars Canon Library, our live Q&A for the month of September. Very awesome to be with you guys again. I know I haven't put a whole lot up on YouTube other than the podcast, but here's the thing. I know there's a couple people asking where all the content is. Right now I'm in the middle of my fall harvest for my job, which is about to kick off with soybeans. For those of you that don't know, we have a big soybean harvest going this year. So I'm going to be busting my ass trying to keep the podcast going, at least until probably the end of October. Once October is over, we're going to have a slew of new content coming out. So we're going to be having more book reviews. We're going to be doing comic reviews. And then also, for those of you that don't know, we're changing the format up of the Canon Library and the Canon Podcast a little bit. As of, I don't want to say next week, but maybe 3 weeks. I want to say 3 weeks. 3 weeks, we're going to have some updates. We're going to have this look more like I guess a radio show, I guess you could say. So very excited about that and really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's something that you don't really see a whole lot of on YouTube when it comes to podcasts and stuff like that. Something that actually looks like I guess like a radio show. And then for the Patreon supporters, we're going to be releasing the video of those sessions when it's me and Kirstie, or you know, if I have my buddy Chris Rains come in or whatever, you know, it depends on that. So I'm probably going to set up a camera over there and another one there, and have one facing this way, one that way. I just ordered a bunch of new equipment and everything. So and actually we're using one of the pieces of new equipment tonight. I actually got me a sound mixer. So trying to I guess, no pun intended, mix things up a little bit. So, yeah, guys, that's kind of what's coming for the Star Wars Canon Library and the Canon Podcast. Another thing is we're going to be shutting down StarWarsCanonLibrary.com, and it's all going to be going to StarWarsCanonPodcast.com, which is live now. You can go check that out now. It's basically a link to the Podbean for the podcast, for this podcast. And, you know, we are going to be losing the gallery page with all the cover art of all the comics and everything, but we're still going to have the upcoming comic, or the upcoming canon list, and the timeline. Sorry, I had a mini stroke for a second. But we're still going to have the timeline there as well. So definitely make sure to check that out. And, you know, like I said, this is our live Q&A for the month of September. Sorry, I got an eyelash in my eye that's bugging me really bad out of nowhere all of a sudden. But before we get into the live questions, there's a couple things I wanted to address, some things in the world of Star Wars that I wanted to talk about. First off, Kirstie and I recorded the Canon podcast last night, or no, 2 nights ago. Sorry, it was 2 nights ago, and that's actually live. It just went live like an hour ago. So this news broke after that, so we weren't able to include it in on that episode of the podcast. But apparently, they have extended Kathleen Kennedy's contract with Lucasfilm as president of Lucasfilm until, I guess, through the year 2021. I know to a lot of people that is heartbreaking news. I know to some people that's really good news. Depending on which side of the fence you're on, either way it could go. So, personally, this is something that I'm not really shocked that they announced it. It's mainly because, you know, a couple weeks ago we had all of the rumors coming out that Kathleen Kennedy was being fired and they were canceling Rian Johnson's trilogy and all this stuff. And, you know, I sat here and said, I don't believe any of it. I didn't believe any of it. And I mean, you can go back and look at the podcast. Yeah, I'll show you where I said it. I didn't think any of it was true, and it turned out it's not. There were even a lot of people on Facebook putting out memes of stuff, you know, saying, oh, you know, Disney, just give her an award and then kick her out. That way social justice warriors won't be mad about us firing a woman. No, I knew all of that was just, it was just, I don't know. It's just people being upset for no reason, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, it kind of makes me wonder what the deal is after 2021, though. Are they going to extend her again? Is this something that they've just extended her to kind of get through episode 9 and maybe get a start on what's going to be Benioff and Weiss's series and Rian Johnson's trilogy? Or is this going to be like every 3 years we have to renew the thing, right? So, and if they don't renew it, who's next? You know, I know a lot of people are calling for Dave Filoni to be promoted and stuff like that, which, I mean, either way that goes, I'd be all right with it. But I mean, I wouldn't be shocked either way. You wouldn't hear me ranting and raving about it either way. So, yeah, Kathleen Kennedy's contract has been extended through 2021. Love it or hate it, that's the way it is. So, and then there was one other thing I wanted to address real quick before we start getting to live questions. If you guys are watching right now and you have a question about Star Wars canon or you just Star Wars in general, go ahead and drop it in the chat board. I'll get to it here in just a minute. But I saw something throughout the week that I found very troubling, at least to me personally. And, you know, Last Jedi was a very divisive film, right? A lot of people didn't like certain aspects of it. A lot of people didn't like a lot of aspects of it. But one of the most hated aspects of it that I've seen people get upset about is the character of Rose Tico. You know, people that I've talked to really hate that character quite a bit. And, you know, and she's gotten a lot of hate. Kelly Marie Tran has gotten a lot of hate, you know, being bullied off of Instagram and stuff like that, which is never okay, right? That kind of bullying is never all right. But I saw this, and the picture I'm about to show you, I did find it on a friend's Facebook page, and they added the yellow text onto it. So I didn't do that, but the picture itself, they found the picture, added this text to it, and then that's what I screen captured. But apparently there's a website called Empire Toy Shop that has labeled the Rose Tico Black Series figure as the worst character ever, Rose. Now look, I'm not one to sit here and tell you you're right or wrong about your opinions. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're not allowed to like something, you're not allowed to hate something. However, you know, they can do what they want, right? I mean, they can label this as they want, worst character ever. I know a lot of people feel that way. But is it really necessary to put it on the Black Series website? I mean, on the website we were selling the Black Series figures, is that really necessary? I mean, come on. It's I get it. You're trying to get your opinion out there. But why are you trying to detract people from purchasing an action figure from your website? If you hate the character so much, wouldn't you want to get rid of all of them in your warehouse? I mean, let me see this picture again. Let me pull it up one more time. It says 9 available. Wouldn't you want to get rid of all 9 of those action figures? Why say it's the worst character ever when you could just say Rose Tico? People are going to buy it. Hell, you know, I'm not a huge fan of Rose Tico, but I bought her Black Series figure. I did, you know. It's one of these things where this bullying thing has got to stop. At some point, it has to stop. So I can't, I can't, man. You know, anybody who's watched the Canon library for an extended amount of time or listens to the podcast knows that I'm very, what's the word I'm looking for? Active in supporting the idea that everybody has a different opinion, right? You know, I mean, you've seen that, you've heard that, but it's getting to the point now where why do you, I mean, like, what if, let's just say, right, I mean, what if they took it to the next step and started slapping a big sticker right across the front of that package that says worst character ever? That would be the next step, and it's bull crap, you know? It's absolutely stupid. So but yeah, I wanted to talk about that a little bit, and then the Kathleen Kennedy thing a little bit. What do you guys think of either of those? Do you think I'm out of line for what I'm saying with the Rose Tico thing or the action figure? What do you think of Kathleen Kennedy being extended till 2021? Let me know, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, wanted to let you guys know the podcast now is available on iTunes and Spotify, and is now available on Google Play Podcasts. So definitely go over there and check that out. It's definitely a great place to find the podcast and listen to it. It's still really surreal to me every time I get on my Spotify and it pops up on my home screen and there's the logo for Star Wars Canon Library. It's absolutely, it's still very surreal to me most of the time. Hang on a second. Let me share this link out real quick here, guys. And give me just a second here. And also, I wanted to let you guys know at the end of this broadcast, we're going to be giving away a couple of things. Did I seriously do that? Oh man, I'm an idiot. I have 2 computers here, and I always type in on the wrong keyboard because I'm an idiot, and apparently I don't know how to work technology. Let me get this going right here. and then we'll get into this. But we're going to be giving away a couple things here at the end of the podcast, or at the end of this episode, that Kirstie herself chose. She picked these out for you guys for a giveaway, and I've got I think I got 3 things here, but she picked them out for you because I think on the podcast she said she had a bunch of goodies for you guys. But real quick, let me get this shared out. I forgot to do it right at the beginning of the episode. Hey, here we go. And hang on. Oh, I don't know how to spell tonight either, apparently. And are we there? Are we there? Do we have it? We have it. There it is. Cool. All right. So anyway, if you guys have any questions about Star Wars canon or Star Wars in general, anything like that, go ahead and drop it in the chat board. And I mean, if it's about novels, comic books, well, what else is there? Games, TV shows, anything you want to talk about, man, just let me know. We'll sit here and talk for a little while. It's a Saturday night. I don't have to work in the morning, so I can stay up as late as we need to until I get every single question answered from you guys. And also, I was going to let you guys know, after this broadcast, I'm going to be hopping on my PS4. I've got everything set up right here now, all nice and neat. It's actually kind of cool the way I set it up. But I got my PS4 set up, and we're going to be playing some Battlefront. So if you want to play some Battlefront with yours truly, hop on. Like I said, I'm on the PS4. We're going to be playing some Battlefront 2. Just shoot me I guess, a request, a friend request, I guess is what it is on there. I'm trying to think of my gamer tag, and I just lost it. Doc in a blue box. That's what it is. DOCINABLUEBOX. So all one word, Doc in a blue box. Yes, I know I'm a Star Wars fan, and I know that is a Doctor Who reference, but I'm a geek all the way around, so screw it. Hey, we got a question here from Kyler Knowles. How's it going, brother? He joined us on our last live Q&A. Kyler says, this isn't a question, but today I came across Heir to the Jedi. Oh, man, you are starting me off on a bad start. And was thinking about buying it. That was until I remembered that you said this book was trash. Man, you got to trigger me right at the beginning, don't you? No, he's not wrong. Remember, everything I say is just my opinion. Okay, it's just strictly my opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it to the bank, right? But Heir to the Jedi was, okay, this book was the 3rd novel released in the new canon. And it was actually grandfathered in a way where it wasn't supposed to be canon. But it got, like I said, it got grandfathered in. It slipped in under the radar. Because what happened was, this book was the 3rd part in a trilogy in the EU. It was supposed to be a Leia novel, a Han novel, and then this Luke novel. And the Leia and Han novels were published. Then the Slate White happened. And this Luke novel was in the middle of being published when it happened. And it kind of was like, they had to change a couple things in it. And we was like, all right, fine, just get it in there and get it out. And it was the 3rd novel released. Oh, man, it was bad. So let me tell you a little bit about this book real quick. It's on the shelf up there. It's behind me, and I wish to God it wasn't. But it's about Luke Skywalker. It happens after A New Hope. It actually picks up right before the comic picks up, actually. The Star Wars self-titled comic. Right before that picks up. And it's Luke being sent on a mission by Leia to find a new rebel base after Yavin. And this book, and this isn't what's wrong with the book, it's just the book is written in first person point of view, which is Luke telling the story. It's, instead of Luke did this, it's I did this, and it's actually from Luke's point of view, which is kind of a neat premise for a novel. And that's not, like I said, that wasn't the problem with it. The problem with it, oh man, the problem with this book is just that, ooh, man, like it's hard to describe, because the only way you can even understand how bad this book is to read it. And it's some of the things that happen in this book. Forgive my language if you're watching and you have young children watching with you. Please forgive my language, but there's a part in this book where Luke catches an alien masturbating. So that happened. That's canon. You know, it's just, and it, like I said, it's him going on these missions that have nothing to do with each other. I think it's 3 missions. I'm pretty sure it's 3 missions. But and he's got this female pilot with him that he's just trying to get laid by the whole time. That's all it is. And Leia's getting jealous. Leia is getting jealous in this book that he is trying to hit on this pilot. And it's god awful, man. And remember, that's just my opinion. I've seen people that have read it that did enjoy it. And I thought I was one of the I saw the reviews before I read it. You know, this was before I ever started the Canon library or started a podcast at all. I used to watch Collider Jedi Council all the time. And they were talking about how bad it was. I'm like, hey, surely it can't be that bad. Surely it is not that bad. It is. That book, it's pretty rough. To give you an idea, it took me, what, three months to read that book? 3 months to read Heir to the Jedi. And like I said, it was the third novel coming out in the new canon. This is, we had the comics already started at this point, but the only 2 novels we had out when that one came out was A New Dawn and Tarkin. And A New Dawn was kind of, it was all right. It was pretty good. And then Tarkin was like phenomenal, right? And then Heir to the Jedi came along and you're just like, oh man, why, Kyler, would you bring that up, brother? Man, it's rough. But no, look, if you saw it and you thought about buying it, don't go based off just my opinion. I mean, you might read it and you might like it. You never know. I mean, it's entirely possible. So, I mean, is it probably going to happen? Probably not. But, yeah, it's pretty rough, to be honest. So, yeah, man, Heir to the Jedi. You had to bring that up. But, you know, it was followed by a pretty decent Luke Skywalker story, Weapon of a Jedi, which was one of those short little, like, young adult novels. But it happens on the timeline immediately after Heir to the Jedi, and it's actually pretty decent, you know. Heir to the Jedi did have a couple of cool parts in it. Like there was one where, I think it was that maybe I'm getting it mixed up with Weapon of a Jedi. Am I? I don't think I am. I think it is an Heir to the Jedi. There's a part where Luke and this pilot go to a planet where there's a Jedi entombed, and the Jedi had a daughter, and the daughter takes Luke to the tomb, and Luke gets into the tomb and takes the Jedi's lightsaber. Can't make this up. And disassembles it, sees how to create a lightsaber and stuff like that, which is a lot of the knowledge he got building his saber, by the way, from between 5 and 6. But it's just, man, oh my God. It's something. That's all I'm going to say. That book is definitely something. So, yeah, Heir to the Jedi. But, you know, everybody, I've been accused of being a Disney lover, of loving everything that Disney's putting out and everything that Lucasfilm is putting out and every book that comes out. That's not true, man. That's not true. Somebody commented the other day and was asking where my comic ranking video for this year is. Haven't done one yet, and I need to. It was like eight months ago. I think I said I was going to do one, and I got busy, you know, started moving and everything else. So it's been kind of put on the back burner, but it does need to happen. Some of the comics that have come out are just roughly bad. I mean, rough. Chewbacca should never have happened. It was a 5-issue run that, wow. And then, you know, Leia had a 5-issue run, which wasn't bad, but the artwork was just trash in it. That happened, and then see what else was there that wasn't that great comic wise. The 3PO one shot. I forgot about that one. There was a one shot of 3PO telling the story of how he got the red arm. And Lego Force Awakens did the same story and a level for DLC and did it better than what this comic did. So that is yeah, that's it's pretty bad. But some of the novels, man, have just been trash. Like Heir to the Jedi is still the bottom of the barrel for me, right? And I haven't put out like official reviews yet, but Last Shot is pretty low on my list. Most Wanted is pretty low on my list. Both of those novels that came out around the Solo time period are really low on my list. And the first Aftermath, like I hate to say it, because I try my best to appreciate the first Aftermath for what it is, and I can't do it. It's still fourth. It is fourth from the bottom, but it's at the bottom. But I need to do another novel ranking too, because a lot of stuff got bumped up. I'm sitting here looking now, and you know, a lot of stuff got bumped up. Right now, I'm in the middle. Hang on, I'll show you what I'm in the middle of right now. Right now, I'm in the middle of reading the solo novelization. I'm actually almost done with it, but oops. And so far, it's not that bad, to be honest. So, yeah, some of the novels, man, I don't love everything. Believe me when I say that. Okay, now, brother, I am so sorry, but I have no idea how to pronounce your name. Well, anybody who's been watching for any amount of time knows that I am no good with names. Wanchito, I believe is how you say your name. Thank you for streaming right now, man. I'm really struggling. What are you struggling with, brother? Lay it on me. Let me know let me know what you're going through, brother. Kyler says just got done reading Inferno Squad. Good book, by the way. It really is. And I felt bad for Aiden at the very end of the book. Did you feel the same way? Oh, man, it's going to be hard to talk about this without giving away spoilers. However, the book has been out long enough. I think we can talk about it. Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad is the kind of prequel novel to the Battlefront 2 campaign, for those of you that don't know. That novel is phenomenal. Absolutely awesome. It shows the formation of Inferno Squad, how this group came together. There used to be one more member. That's kind of what Kyler's talking about. But there used to be one more member. And at one point in this book, they infiltrate this group of partisans, these rebel partisans, from different angles. You know, this guy joined, was on a wrecked ship or something like that. He joined. This guy got found. This girl was a slave girl, and she was taken in as a part of the group. But they're all members of Inferno Squad, right? And Aiden had the hardest story of all of it. They publicly shamed Aiden Versio for betraying the Empire. Took her to a prison planet. I don't remember where it was. Where was it? Oh, man, I hate myself for not knowing this. Hoping that the partisans will decide to break her out since she's such a high-ranking Imperial and who her father is, and get her to join the group since she betrayed the Empire. And they do it, and that's how she infiltrates the group. And then they're all working together separately, and this group has no idea that they have an entire Imperial thing going on, right? And toward the end of the book, one of the members, I think it was the slave girl that got brought onto the group, they find out that she is a traitor. And they think Aiden's in on it, and they make Aiden kill her, not knowing that they're actual teammates. But Aiden does it. Like, well, she doesn't really do it. She's holding this vibroblade, this sword, and it kind of happens. But she's the one holding it, you know. And it's oh my God, dude. I mean, the things you would do to make sure your mission succeeds, you know, and your squad makes it out alive, and most of them, you know what I mean? And the end of that book, like, I started reading that and my jaw dropped, dude. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's absolutely painful to read. But it builds a lot on the Aiden character, and it kind of gives a reason why she did what she did in the Battlefront 2 campaign. So, yeah, anyway, that's, yeah, man, Inferno Squad's definitely a great book. But, yeah, I loved it. And at the end of that, when that unfortunate event happened with Aiden, oh, man, right in the feels, man. And it was one of those things you never saw coming. You know, it was so good. Wanchito, I believe that's how you say your name. Just some girlfriend issues. I'll be all right. Man, that is a bummer. That sucks. It'll be all right, man. I promise you everything will work out. Everything happens for a reason. You know, I've gone through a lot of stuff like that in my life, and I thought it was the end of the world. And, you know, I got through it, you know, and I was depressed for a while, and a lot of people don't even know this. I don't even think Kirstie knows this. This is before Kirstie ever came along. I was suicidal at one point, and it's one of those things that I'm glad I got through it, you know, because I'm happy where I'm at now. It'll be all right. Don't even worry about it, you know? No point in worrying about it because it ain't going to change nothing. That's kind of my philosophy on it, brother. But yeah, you'll get through it. It'll be better. Right now, you know, like I've had a rough past, man. You know, I've had some serious family issues happen, but look, Kirstie and I just bought our own house, our first house. We're still together after everything that has happened, you know, and I've never been happier, you know? So keep it going, man. You'll be all right. Trust me. And if you ever need anybody to talk to, man, you know how to get a hold of me. Just let me know. All right, I got you, brother. David, oh boy, Taban. Is that how you say that? Molina. I think I butchered your middle name. I'm sorry, brother. Could you rank your top 5 Legends novels? Just started reading Star Wars novels and watched your Canon novels ranking, but would like to know your favorite EU novels. Okay, so I haven't read the entire EU. Keep that in mind. When I was a kid growing up, I did my best to keep up with it, and I did for a while. And I've read several EU novels. There's a follower of our page, Richard J. Yeah, he's the one that helps me run the YouTube, or not the YouTube, the Facebook page and stuff like that. He lives in Wales, and he has read all of them, I think, except the very last novel, Crucible. I could be wrong. He might have read it by now. I need to get a hold of him and find out. However, with me, you know, I started reading the EU novels, and I got to a point where I couldn't keep up with it anymore. I tried, and it was one of those things where, like, I would go to the library every couple weeks and get the new book, check it out, read it, take it back, get the next one, read it, take it back, right? And then I think it got to a point, I'm trying to think what novel it was. I want to say, I'm pretty sure it was John Jackson Miller's Kenobi that came out. I took it back. That was the last one I read. I took it back, and there was like 7 new novels, and I didn't know where to start. I didn't know which one went where, and I think I did pick one of them up. I think maybe it was Death Star. I think Death Star was the next one. I got through it, and by the time I got back, they had multiplied exponentially, and I was like, man, there's no way I'm going to keep up with all this. So I kind of gave up on it, and now I'm rebuilding my EU collection. I've got all the Old Republic stuff minus Darth Plagueis, so I'm working on rebuilding it now. But of the novels I've read, my top 5, man. Well, the first one I ever read was Shadows of the Empire, which I think is the first one a lot of people. I know a lot of people have read Shadows of the Empire first, especially because it was prominent enough that had its own Power of the Force action figure line. You know what I mean? You had a Prince Shizor figure. You had Dash Rendar, Chewie with the flat top. You know, you had all these other characters. So I've read Shadows of the Empire, which was one of my absolute favorite novels. I don't know how I wore my copy of it out. What else was there? The Thrawn trilogy obviously is that's one everybody knows about. But one of the ones that I thought was really, really great, and it's really underrated. Apparently, I've seen people talk about this particular book and say it's not that great. I loved it. I've got a cat in here I didn't know about. I thought I kicked them all out. But Darksaber. Darksaber is a really, really cool novel in my opinion. Richard J would tell you Ghost of Tatooine is a great one. I don't think I've read that one yet. What else? Let me go back to Darksaber for a second. Darksaber was a really, really cool story. Not to give it away. I'll just give you the general premise of it because there's some serious spoiler stuff in that novel I don't want to give away. But essentially what it is, the story is the Hutts get they want their own super weapon like what the Death Star was, and they want a new Death Star, but they don't want the battle station on it. They just want the cannon, just the weapon. And they build one, and they call it Darksaber. So when it fires, it looks like this lightsaber, right? That's a really cool one. What else is there? Yeah, Kyler's bringing up Bane Trilogy, which is my top 3 right off the bat. Bane Trilogy. I've got all 3 of them over there. It's the Bane Trilogy is phenomenal. Juan Cheeto says, actually, I start with Shadows of the Empire also. It's a good one, man. But the Bane Trilogy, if you want a trilogy of books centered around a villain, around a Sith Lord that actually works, Bane Trilogy. Obviously, it's not canon. The character is canon now, but those books themselves are not. They could come out tomorrow and say, yeah, they're canon, and they're making the jump from the wooden bookshelf up to the top shelf. So, yeah, the Bane Trilogy is absolutely phenomenal. And if you're going to read those, make sure you have all 3 of them before you start, because you're going to want to just go back to back to back with them. I promise you. The only thing I didn't like about the first Bane book is it starts just like every other Star Wars novel did back in the old EU on a mining planet in a mine. So, you know, so once you get away from that, it's pretty good. But yeah, no, my top 5. I'm going to say Bane is the top 3 spots. As far as the books go, in any particular order, geesh, I'm going to say the first Bane book is number 1, the third Bane book is number 2, and the second Bane book is number 3, ranking-wise. And then the next 2, man, I really feel like Shadows of the Empire should be in there. But where is she? Oh, I thought I had a cat in here. Um, God, I'm gonna go ahead and say Shadows of the Empire, and then gosh, you know what? Believe it or not, I'm going to say The Rise of Darth Vader. I'm going to say it. I mean, that was one of those novels that kind of took place. It was Labyrinth of Evil, Revenge of the Sith, and The Rise of Darth Vader. They were all kind of their own little trilogy, and Revenge of the Sith was kind of tucked in there in the middle. The Rise of Darth Vader is a really good book. You want some brutal Vader action? Go pick that one up, man. It's pretty good, and especially it's Vader. It's like year one Vader, like what we're getting now in the new Vader run, right? The comic run. Absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, I would go with those five. If you haven't read the Bane trilogy yet, read that one. That's absolutely great. When Cheeto says, "Thanks, man." Yeah, don't worry, man. We gotta have each other's backs. That's the way it goes, right? You got it. That's the human thing to do. Like I say, if you ever need anything, let me know. David says, "Already read the Thrawn trilogy." I think everybody's already read the Thrawn trilogy, to be honest. I don't mean that as a dig. I swear I didn't say that as a dig. But no, yeah, everybody's read that. It's one of those that has really taken off with the fans, you know, and I mean, look, say what you will about the canon novels and, you know, in the canon version of Thrawn, it's the same Thrawn. It's Thrawn through and through. That's all it is. And it's absolutely great. And it's like they brought him straight from the EU into canon. It's absolutely perfect, and just dropped him into a different time period, you know. But I think, you know, with Thrawn, I'm going to talk about this for just a second. I think with Thrawn, I think we're going to see a lot more of him between episodes 6 and 7 once episode 9 comes out. I think because, you know, Timothy Zahn's already come forward and said that he's writing 2 more Thrawn novels, but he can't release anything. He can't even start working on him until after episode 9 comes out. Where was the last place we saw Thrawn? You know, at the end of season 4 of Rebels, where he, you know, his situation with Ezra kind of left off at a cliffhanger, right? So where do you go from there? He's already said the next story is going to be Thrawn and Ezra's story. So that's not going to happen until after episode 9, and then another Thrawn novel after that. Once we get episode 9, I think they're going to go back and start filling in this gap between episodes 6 and 7, this 30-year period, and just cover it. And I think Thrawn is instrumental in bringing the First Order to fruition. I really do. I think that I'm going to take that to the bank. And we won't know until, you know what, God, 2020? I think 2020 is when we'll know. So, yeah, I guess we'll see once that comes around, you know. So, thanks for the question. Let's see here. Where was I? Oh, here we go. Juan Cheeto says, could Clone Wars Season 7 have any timeline mistakes with the Ahsoka novel? I don't think so. The Ahsoka novel takes place, what, a year after Revenge of the Sith? So it's the first Empire Day I mean, when it actually picks up. So I don't think so. Season 7 is just going to lead up to, I think, Revenge of the Sith, and maybe cross over into it a little bit. I really think it's going to. You know, a lot of people have talked about saying, you know, they think this next season of Clone Wars is going to end right at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. I think it'd be awesome for it to keep going, you know, like Obi-Wan and Anakin get the call, hey, Chancellor's been kidnapped, you got to go, you know, and we get that story like what Dave Filoni told us at Celebration, where Anakin leaves the 501st with Ahsoka on Mandalore to fight Maul. Because even in Rebels, remember? In Rebels, Maul referred to Ahsoka as Lady Tano. So there's a story there. There's a history there. And I think we're going to see that story, because that was never covered in the Ahsoka novel. So that would be the exact time period where that needs to happen. I think this season of Clone Wars coming up is going to tap into episode 3, into Revenge of the Sith. And I think we're going to see Order 66 from the clones' point of view attacking Ahsoka and Ahsoka getting away. I think it's going to happen. And I mean, I'm almost willing to, God, man, I will bet a lot of money. You know what? I'll tell you what. I have got, and I'm going to say this right here, you guys can hold me to it. I have got a prototype Boba Fett Black Series figure mint in the box over there. if I'm wrong about this Clone Wars thing, I'll raffle it off to one of the viewers. I will do it as a giveaway for one of the viewers. I'm that dead. I'm that cocksure. I am. I'm absolutely positive. But no, I don't think it's going to do any timeline mistakes with Ahsoka. I think, if anything, it's just going to fill in some of the gaps that we haven't seen so far. Kyler says, if you could create a novel or comic for the canon, what would it be? Oh. If it could be a novel or a comic. God, that could be anything. Obviously, I'd love to have a canon Bane story. But I'm going to, since we already have Bane as canon, I'm going to go one further. I'm going to say a Revan novel or a Revan comic. Something along those lines with Revan, because Revan needs to be canon. That is a character that I cannot figure out for the life of me why they haven't brought him over yet. And the only reason I can think of is because they already have a plan for Old Republic. And they don't want to jeopardize it by saying, oh, this guy's canon, and then try to come up with a new story later around him instead of making a story that he fits into. You know what I mean? So I really want to say something with Revan. There's still one story I'm waiting to see in the Star Wars comic pop up, but that comic's already going. God, man, if I could create a comic. We need a Luke standalone comic. We need a 5-issue run of Luke Skywalker. We don't have one. We have 5-issue runs of Han, Leia, Lando, hell, Chewie. 3PO got his own freaking comic. Are you kidding me? 3PO has a comic issue. But nothing with Luke? Nothing with Marvel, Star Wars, Luke Skywalker. Really? Nothing? That's something I want to see. I want to see Luke in his freaking prime, man. You know, I want to see the Luke that everybody's crying that they didn't get in Last Jedi. That's honestly what I want. I want that Luke, but in a way, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. I want an actual novel. Like, okay, the Legends of Luke Skywalker, those little like short stories they came out with that you don't know whether or not they're canon. Those, I want just take one of those stories, because not all of them need to actually be canon. If you've read them, you know what I'm talking about. But we need an actual Luke novel wrapped around some of those stories. There was a couple of those stories that were really good. And one of my favorite ones, and a lot of people crap on this one, is the one where he's on the ocean planet learning about the tide, what their tribal people call the tide, which is the Force, from their point of view, and some of the lessons he learned there, you know, and some of that stuff carried over into episode 8 with the giant spear and the fish. He did that in that story for the first time, stuff like that. But if I could create a novel or a comic, I'm going to say something with Revan in it. Or, I'm not one of these people that's crying because I really, really need it to be out there, but I think it would be really interesting to read. Give me a novel about Snoke's background, or give me a novel about, or not even necessarily a novel, a comic run would be good enough, about how Maz got Luke's lightsaber. Or, I want a novel of Luke and Ben Solo running around the galaxy together as master and apprentice when Ben finds out about his relation to Vader. I want that. I want that novel. I want it so freaking bad. I think that's where we need to actually see it happen. That's... Look, in Bloodline's been out for like 2 years now, right? So we're going to talk about Bloodline. There's a huge plot twist, I should say, in Bloodline. And I didn't see it coming, and when it happened, my jaw dropped, just like the Iden Versio thing. The galaxy finds out about Leia's relation to Vader. And it's like 25 years after Return of the Jedi. And this senator and her are running against each other for this role called First Senator, which is essentially like Chancellor. Essentially, it's just a different title, First Senator of the New Republic. And her opponent comes across this hologram of Bail Organa talking to Leia, telling her who her real father is and everything like that. And she plays it for the Senate. Up to this point, the only people who knew that Leia was related to Vader was Han, Luke, and Leia. Those are the only living people that even knew. I'm assuming Chewbacca knew, but they did talk about that. Han, Luke, and Leia are the only three that knew that the relation to Vader. until that happened in this giant. So, and when it happened, Leia tried getting a hold of Luke to let Ben know, because Ben didn't even know. And she didn't want Ben finding out on the HoloNet with the rest of the galaxy, which he did. So I really, really want to read the novel from their point of view, where that happened, and where Ben is watching this HoloNet thing, and all of a sudden he's like, he turns and looks at Luke, I'm the grandson of Vader? You know, it's like, just loses, like, that is, I want that novel. I want it so bad. And in the same novel, you can do the whole story of, you know, of Luke sensing the darkness in Kylo, and you know, the whole flashback scene from Last Jedi. You could do that in this novel at the same time and end it on that note with the destruction of the Jedi Temple and Luke going into exile. You could end it right there, you know? And it'd be absolutely amazing to read. Absolutely love it. Kyler says, yeah, true on Legends of Luke Skywalker, some don't need to be canon. You already know which story I'm talking about. But there's a story in there about a flea in Jabba's palace that... There's a story about a flea being in Luke's hair in the Rancor pit, telling Luke when to duck, when to jump, when to dodge, and Luke thinks it's the Force talking to him. And it's a flea. Strike it. Just completely strike it. This is what I was talking about earlier when I said I don't actually like everything they've come out with. It's actually stupid. Like, it's just, it's mind-numbingly... Why? Why did you think that story needed to be in there? Why, just, whatever. I don't want to talk about that story anymore. It's so bad. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's the one. Let's see here. Kyler says, read the final page of Leia, Princess of Alderaan, and can see why you said it was a gut punch. Oh, you did read it. Oh, you read the final page of Leia. Oh my God. Have you read the full book yet, man? Oh my God. Still haven't read the book, but I want to. I guess I should have finished the question. No, you need to read that book. It is, you wouldn't think a story about a 16-year-old girl would be that, that interesting, but it is. I mean, it's our first look at Holdo, Amy Lynn Holdo, which one of the things about her is her character from the Leia novel to Last Jedi is completely 180. Like, there's no consistency to her character there whatsoever. In the novel, she's kind of the Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter of the Star Wars universe. She's really loony and kind of in touch with everything around her and all this stuff, you know, and not like that in Last Jedi. I didn't get that vibe at all in Last Jedi, but that is a great novel. And that last line, one of the reasons I love Claudia Gray. Right now, I'm calling Claudia Gray is the queen of Star Wars canon, and Timothy Zahn is the king. I'm going. I know Zahn has only written Thrawn novels, and it, you know, it'd be great to see him write something other than Thrawn. But Zahn and Claudia Gray are the king and queen of canon right now. That's all there is to it, man. They are. Claudia Gray is one of these authors that she could write one of her stories on a literal piece of crap, and I'd still read it. It's look, her first outing in Star Wars was Lost Stars, which to me is still top novel on the list. You need to calm down. I got a cat in here I didn't know about, and she's talking my ear off. But it's still top of the list for me. And then she came out and wrote, what did she write next? She wrote Bloodline next, I believe. Yes, Bloodline was next. And then she wrote a short story in the From a Certain Point of View novel, or the collection of novels, I should say. And the one she wrote, and that was called Master and Apprentice, which was, it took place during A New Hope, obviously, since the whole book does. But it was the point where Luke had run off to go check on Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, and Obi-Wan was left at the Jawa Sandcrawler with the droids, and Qui-Gon's ghost appears to him. And I mean, it's so good. You guys have to go read that. Not all the stories in that book are good, but that one, holy crap. And now she's actually been commissioned to write a full novel of Master and Apprentice of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon pre-Phantom Menace coming out next year. So I'm really, really excited about that. And I mean, anything Claudia Gray writes just turns to gold, man. I that's my opinion. I absolutely love Claudia Gray. I'm trying to get her on the show. So if you guys would like to see her on here, you know, I'd love to do an interview with her. Make sure to tweet at her and let her know that I'm trying to get a hold of her to see if she wants to do an interview. I'll try tweeting her again actually this coming week, because this interview needs to happen. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm talking myself into it. But let's see here. One Cheeto says, that moment when you have Bloodline waiting for you to read it in your shelf. Oh, no, you have Bloodline? You haven't read it yet? Oh my God, so good. Dude, it's so good. It's, what genre would, Kyler, what genre would you consider that? Maybe political thriller? I want to call it political thriller. Absolutely great, phenomenal novel. Absolutely great. And you'll notice Claudia Gray knows how to write Leia. She really knows how to write Leia. She's got it down, which I think is why they went back and had her write the Leia of Alderaan book too. I forgot she wrote that after Bloodline. But yeah, she's absolutely phenomenal as an author, and I can't wait to read Master and Apprentice. I absolutely can't. And Kyler said, yeah, that one, the story with the fleet. Look, that story was the further it went in that book, the worse it got. And, you know, I mean, even talked to Leia at one point, and I think he even told her what it was. And then afterwards, you know, with the whole Luke thing in the Rancor, he's like, I could hear it whispering in my ear, and it's yeah. But I said it because of the spoiler. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't know you hadn't read it yet at that point. I figured the novel had been out long. It's been out for 2 years, so I just assumed that it was. But trust me, the novel is still worth the read. The way you lead up to that moment, absolutely amazing, dude. It's absolutely great. Kyler says political thriller, like you said. It's really close. Like, Kirstie's grandfather used to read these Jack Reacher novels. And, or was it Jack Reacher? The Lee Child Jack Reacher novels, I think is what he used to read. And a lot of those are political thrillers, you know, and it's right along the same lines as that kind of thing. But I would love to see her write more of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's absolutely great. Especially, look, the really cool thing about that story that she wrote too on Master and Apprentice, and from a certain point of view, it actually kind of went through the process of how the Force ghosts appear. You know what I mean? The kind of the process they go through when they take on a corporeal form, right? When they actually manifest themselves. And it was really kind of cool the way that she wrote it, and especially the emotion between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Because in that story, Qui-Gon knows that Obi-Wan's death is coming soon. He knows, he can sense it in the Force that Obi-Wan doesn't have much longer. Which isn't a spoiler. We know Obi-Wan dies in A New Hope anyway. If you didn't know that, I don't know why you're watching this video. But no, it's absolutely, when Qui-Gon realizes that Obi-Wan is about to become one with the Force very soon, you're just like, oh my God, man, really? It's so good. Absolutely love it. But anyway, guys, we've been going for a little while, almost 50 minutes. I think we're gonna wrap it up for right now. I'm thinking about starting the Battlefront stream or the game about 9 o'clock my time here in the next 12 minutes. But because there's only 3 of you guys watching right now, I've got 3 things to give away. What are the odds of that? So everybody who's watching right now, if you haven't put a comment in yet, go ahead and drop one in real quick. So I've got your name real quick. And while I'm waiting on that, what are the Lost 20? Okay. So the Lost 20 are the Lost 20 Jedi. If you look at, oh no, you're good, man. Don't worry about it. If you look at the Jedi archives and the prequels, you'll see along the aisles, there's like busts. And Obi-Wan was even staring at one in episode 2. And when Jocasta Nu comes up, and she asks him, you know, did you need help, Master Kenobi? He's staring at the bust of Count Dooku. But the Lost 20 are the 20 Jedi that left the Jedi Order. The only 20. And technically, I guess it should be the Lost 21 after Clone Wars. If you guys have watched Clone Wars, you know who I'm talking about, a certain Padawan. So, yeah, no, it's absolutely, the Lost 20 is really cool, but it's one of those things that I really feel like we need those stories. You know what? You asked earlier what I would do for a comic or, okay, come on. I know, you're so mad. I know. You asked earlier what I wanted to do for a comic or for a novel. Dude, give me a 20 issue series of 21 shots of these Jedi leaving the Jedi Order. Holy crap. Because you could touch on so many different eras. Not all of them had to have happened in 20 years. You know what I mean? You could have some ancient Jedi that left that are part of the Lost 20. Just give us some of those one-shots. That'd be amazing. My cat's like judging me right now. But anyway, but no, give us like a 20-issue series, like one-shots of each of these Jedi and what happened with them and leaving. Hell, you could even like, oh my God, what if, I don't know how well they would sell, but maybe do 5-issue runs for each one. That's 100 issues of comics right there laid out. I mean, do 5 issues of each one. Like, do a 5-issue run of this Jedi, 5-issue run of this Jedi, 5-issue run of this Jedi from different eras of the Star Wars timeline. Holy crap, that'd be cool. You know, and hell, that you could do it over the course of 10 years. I mean, even if you released one comic, well, I guess, yeah, it'd be over 10 years. If you did one comic a month, you could get through what? 2.5 runs a year. And if you've got 20 runs, yeah, it'd be just shy of 10 years for the, I mean, that'd be 10 years of comics. God, I'd love that. That'd be freaking awesome. But anyway, and Juanchito says, just read the last line of Leia, Princess of Alderaan. It's rough. Gray knows how to hit you in the guts, man. She really does. So everybody watching right now, I've got 2 names of people who are watching right now. I got Kyler and Juanchito. And David, if David's still watching, if you guys are watching right now, drop your name in the chat, and I'm going to take those names and put them into this name generator, and I'm going to be giving away these 3 items that I've got. So just so you guys know what we've got, Kirstie picked these out for you guys. I didn't pick these out. Kirstie picked them out. And I guess we'll start with the little one first. In honor of Solo coming out on Blu-ray, and, you know, and the novel being released and stuff. No, I don't have the Blu-ray or the novel. That's going to be next month's giveaway. But because Han Solo is so dear to our hearts, and I know a lot of people love Pops figures, we've got a Pop figure for you. It's Han Solo in the snow gear from Episode 7. So that's going to be the first thing we're giving away. The second thing is, I guess Black Series did these die-cast metal figures, I guess. And this is actually number 3. This is Luke Skywalker, but it's still in the package. And we're going to be giving this away also. And it's, you know, it's actually kind of cool. I don't necessarily collect these myself, but they are pretty cool. And then the creme de la creme of what we're giving away right now is going to be a radio-controlled BB-8. So if you guys want to, you know, want a chance to win any of these, drop your name in the chat. I'm going to go through and randomly pick out names for these things, man. So I'm going to go ahead and drop in Kyler's name and Juanchito's name. Last month we gave away a copy of Thrawn Alliances, and our good friend Andrew won that. Let's see here. So, drop these names in. My cat is pissed, dude. Hang on a second. Here we go. All right, so we've got, let me move it over here so I can see the names at the same time. All right, let's see here. We've got Kyler. We've got Juanchito. I'm assuming your name is Juan. If I've been saying that wrong the whole time, brother, I am truly sorry. I'm no good with names. I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. Tristan Kurtz is watching. Right on, brother. How you doing? Tristan's being entered in. All right. And then, you know what? I think that's 3 names. Those are the only 3 names I got, man. So each of you guys is going to win something. It's just a matter of what we're going to be sending each of you. My cat is so mad right now. So, like I said, the first thing I'm going to be giving away is the Han Solo Pop figure. So, I'm going to be... I know you're mad. I know you want out. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Give me 2 minutes. Don't judge me. All right. Let's see here. Let's do the random generation and... Thinking. Tristan. Hey, Tristan. You are the winner of the Han Solo Pop figure. If you would be so kind as to shoot me an email at StarWarsCanonLibrary@gmail.com, let me know your name and your full mailing address, and I'll get this in the mail to you as quickly as I can, man. I'll get this to you. Congratulations on winning, man. Very, very cool. So that's going to Tristan. And make sure to put on their Pop figure winner. That way I can keep track of what goes to who. So congratulations, man. Absolutely awesome. All right, so next thing we're doing, Black Series. And I guess once we do this one, the third person will just automatically get the BB-8. So the Black Series figure. Let's see here. Let me do this here. So now it's down between Juan and Kyler. And we'll take Tristan's name out of here. And thinking. Juan, you have won the Black Series Luke Skywalker. So same as Tristan, shoot me an email, man. It's actually Juan, and you've said it right. Okay, just wanted to make sure, man. You win the Luke Skywalker. So shoot me an email with your mailing address, and I'll get it in the mail for you, brother. And I guess, Kyler, that means you win the BB-8. So all of you guys, shoot me your addresses at StarWarsCanonLibrary@gmail.com. I will get them in the mail for you by we'll see what is today, Saturday. I'll get them in the mail for you by the middle of next week. Those will be heading your way. So congratulations, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy these when you get them. And as always, man, I'm going to give you my closing comments. As always, make sure to check out the website. It's different now, Star Wars Canon Podcast.com. I'm going to be shutting down Star Wars Canon Library, and we're going to be moving everything over to Star Wars Canon Podcast.com, and it's going to be focused mainly around the podcast. So make sure to go check that out. The podcast is now available on iTunes and Spotify and the Google Play Store, so go look for it there as well. Make sure to visit our Facebook page. Give us a like and a thumbs up there. That way you'll know when you've got more of these live Q&As coming. And if you guys haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, that notification button. You'll know every week when the podcast is uploaded. It is uploaded to the YouTube channel as well. Make sure to visit the Patreon page if you're interested in sending any support our way. We'd sure appreciate it. That's what has been buying all this equipment, the lights, the new mics, the soundboard. I got the new soundboard hooked up. So, guys, show some love. I'd sure appreciate it. And as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, this is Brian signing off. May the Force be with you.